Yeah, in this video, I just want to discuss with you what India needs to do to take seaweed aquaculture forward. Globally, aquatic algae farming sector has a tremendously better growth rate of 10% compared with all other aquaculture sectors. And the total seaweed production is almost like 35 million tons. However, in India, it is not even 10,000 tons per annum. So India needs to do a lot in seaweed farming, and whereas the India requirement is a lot. For example, for the requirement of biostimulants, it is used in various sectors like biofertilizers and other areas, and we require almost 75% of this requirement is being imported from South America and other countries. So India is in need of seaweed based products. So then apart from that, there is a huge export market also. So in this background, let's see the road map for seaweed aquaculture farming promotion. And we have a small case study when we took up Kappa ficus seaweed farming in an intensive manner in the country a few years back. And there was some serious problem faced by the local people. That was the non-availability of the seed material or the plant material. So there is a consistent supply of this plant material, of the seed material, of the seaweed, of any species which we are choosing for aquaculture is very important. So having started the seaweed farming, and if we end up with the shortage of this material, then it will be a huge embarrassment. So this is one area where the government can help to farm or some mechanism through PPP mode or a special purpose vehicle mode or some cooperative management mode. So the government agencies must come forward to ensure the supply of this seed material through PPP mode arrangement or a special purpose vehicle mode arrangement, some mechanism to ensure the continuous supply of the seed material for the farming community. And then opening the Gulf regions for seaweed farming is very important, because seaweed farming, Indonesia is largely undertaken in and around island. They have got thousands of islands in and around the country. But in our country, we do not have that kind of luxury of having thousands of islands in and around the country. But Gulf regions are the ideal places for undertaking seaweed farming. So now at present, the Gulf regions are protected areas and we are not allowing seaweed farming. But we can help. For example, 5% or 10% of this region can be allotted for undertaking seaweed farming, because these are the potential advantageous areas for seaweed farming. And there are 7 to 8 species globally are undertaken in seaweed farming. We've got a very good potential. And of these 7 or 8 species, India has got some 3 species like Gracilaria, Kappa ficus and Euphemia. And apart from that, there are certain varieties. We have a species called Euphema cottonelle in our country, but we have one species called Spenosium. This species has got a tremendous growth potential, and the government can think of bringing this species or importing this technology in our country, because this species has got a tremendous potential. So we have to identify the potential species for seaweed farming, and swiftly we have to introduce these species to develop the technologies as per the requirement of our geographical regions. And the site mapping is very, very important, as we are doing for developing the brackish water areas or inland aquaculture areas. We need to do this assignment, that is identifying the suitable site for seaweed farming is very important, and this has to be assigned to the important institution on a time-bound manner to execute this work. And the industry's participation in seaweed farming is one particular mechanism other countries are following to take this seaweed farming forward. For example, this industries like food industries, then confectionery industries, or the dairy industry, they are largely utilizing the seaweed-based materials. So these industries need to be involved largely in capital investment for seaweed farming. For example, to produce kind of seed material supplying, or investing in an R&D for tissue culturing techniques and all, we have to identify, or we have to involve these larger industries in the country, so that the investment will be happening and the growth of the seaweed aquaculture sectors can be ensured. And the last but not least, R&D investment. though the government is doing here and there some R&D investment, it is largely required. We have some serious issues with the seed supply, and then we have some serious issue with culture technology, ideal material. For example, wraps are used, then tube methods are used, and we need to have some innovative materials identified to undertake seaweed farming. So R&D is required, and bioreactors are largely used to in the marine algae production. So these are some R&D prospective areas wherein the government must come forward to invest. So highlighting all these points, the government through the research institutions and the agencies like NMTP or MSME and other related departments, we should be able to help the sector to identify the issues or resolving them and take the technology forward. Thank you so much.